I'm really starting to believe that Stephanie Jenkins has lost her mind. She put out this video, and she starts off by telling us that she has all this content she wants to put out, that she was going to put out, but she doesn't want to because she's tired of the same old comments of people saying that she is using substances. She tells us, that she's been around that her whole life, and that's why she would never use anything besides her smoking. Because she's been around it her whole life, whether it be the area she lives in, she says, or her family. She's seen a lot of her family throw their lives away to that crap, as she says. And she says another reason that she never would have ever used substances is because she was always afraid of how it would impact her looks. So she finds it ironic that people think she's using substances because of the way she looks. She can never grasp the concept that it's not because of her looks, it's her actions. There are a whole lot of us that have been there. We have been through the whole ride, the whole wild ride of addiction, till we finally got into recovery. We could see the signs, the behaviors, but she is standing 10 toes down that nope, never done it and never will. Then she starts to go on about she is costing them more in every month in rent at this shelter than it would be for them to pay rent at an apartment or in a home. I'm not buying that they have to pay rent at this shelter because we've seen, like the other lady that gets vouchers, we've heard her talk about other people getting vouchers to stay at this shelter. You can't tell me that she's not getting a voucher to stay there. I'm just not buying it. Because, okay, let's say she's telling the truth. If that's the case, I hate to say it, they're never going to get out of there then. Because if they're paying, what did you say, almost $3,000 a month to stay in this shelter, it's impossible for them to save anything. She has dug herself a hole she can't get out of if that's the case. And then she claims, that they're still working on credit. A year and a half later, we're still working on credit. We still have nothing saved up. And then she wants to say that people, they judge her because she stays at this shelter, and people want to talk about her staying at this grimy shelter in this place, this terrible place in Portland, like she doesn't know. I don't know. That's all I got to say. Then we start getting into faith and religion again. She needs to just work on the being patient part. And there's lots of stories in the Bible, she says, where people could have said to these people, well, where is your God? So she's comparing herself to these people that went through terrible struggles and trials in the Bible. And people looked at them and said, where is your God? But she's not realizing faith is not about just sitting around, doing absolutely nothing, waiting on God to drop a miracle into your lap. It's not going to happen like that. And she keeps saying she needs to be patient and just wait on this. It's not the way it works. You need to help yourself. But she cannot grasp that concept. And here's where it gets even more wild. She tells us that God has always spoke to her through visions. She actually seen Drew smile and Drew's tattoos before she ever met him. God showed her this before she ever met Drew. That's how she knew they would be together. And she says that, of course, some people would say these are delusions. I would tend to believe so, but she actually has the audacity to then compare herself to Moses and say, was Moses delusional when he received visions? I don't understand what she's doing. That was the video, though. It was basically just a bunch of complaining again about she's tired of people assuming she's using substances, and then we got the whole waiting on God to just, God's timing, as she always wants to tell us. And I don't understand. Over on FB, she posted this video. She posted the whole video, and then she broke it down into 11 parts. I'm not understanding why she's been doing that. But I don't know. So that was the whole video. basically, in a nutshell. That's the major parts of it, right? So then we wrap up the evening by, they decide that they're going to color a rock. And she wonders why people assume what they do. They colored this rock, and then they took a picture walk, whatever that is, and they left the rock in a random places. Huh? And then they had some leftover Wendy's fries for dinner with a tuna melts, and they put fresh spinach on the tuna melts, and this was the first time that they ever put fresh spinach on the tuna melt, and they all really liked it. As if we care. And I've never had fast food fries that taste good, leftover, warmed up. Ugh, I would, no. And then she makes this very strange video where she's, you know, at Bella in the bathroom. Bella laughs and Stephanie turns around and scratches her crotch. You have to watch it quick to catch that. And then we come up with this up here. The kids put her in timeout, and she's in the pack and play. This is what she's calling content. I'm not understanding what's going on with her. I really think that I think she's slipping farther and farther away, more and more into delusional. I don't know. It's starting to get actually to the point of being concerning. You know, what are we doing again? Playing with rocks again. Like I said before, this is what these kids have to look forward to over the summer. We're going to paint rocks and leave them in random places. We're going to dig through pea gravel and cigarette butts and what else to find some rocks. I don't know. But yeah, let me know what you think about Miss Thompson, Miss Pookie Thompson here. I think she's lost her mind, but that's my opinion.